Hello everyone, I created a client server project with two Godot projects. I created a client project and a server project, and you will run the server on a single instance. So the server is running and you could run multiple instances of the clients, so they will connect to the single server. So first of all I will show you what I've created and then I jump quick into the code, but I will put a link into the description to the Git repository, so you could clone both repositories or both projects are in one repository, so you could just go into the code for your own onto your own. So I will first export both projects so I could run multiple instances. If you are running another operating system, then you must choose Mac or Windows, but I've run Linux, so I choose Linux, and then you go to the export and save the client project as client, and then you go to the server project and do the same for the server, save, and then you just could go into the folder Godot executables, and then you could just click onto the files and they are just starting. I wrote a short bash script that will run one server instance and 3 client instances. So I have here the server. You could just put the server project code into the Godot headless project, because you will run the server on a headless server, and then you could rent a server and just put this code onto the server, and then you doesn't need or have a GUI, so this won't crash. You need the Godot headless, and then you have the 3 clients, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 here, and rename the first player 1. And the second we will name player 2, and the third we will name Alice, and then we start. Every 3 clients, so if a client clicks on refresh, you see there aren't any games, but if you create a game 1 with maximum players of 2, you could create the game, and then player 1 is into the game room and is waiting for another player or other players that could join. And if the other client just refresh, you see there is into the game list a game, and then he could click on it and he will join the game room and it gets updated for another player. So player 1 and player 2 are in the same game room, and if he will refresh, you see 2 and 2 can't join the game. But if he left and he refreshed, he sees it's an open place, so Alice and player 1 are in the game, and only the first player or the host could start the game. So for the other players are the start button disabled, and then if the player 1 starts the game, it will start for both players. The game doesn't do much, but that's not part of this project. So if you are on turn, you see turn of Alice, and you can't click on next turn because it isn't your turn, so you can't do anything. But if you are on turn, you see you could click on the next turn, and then it will get updated for every players. And also if you are on turn, you could click on a tile, and if you see here on the another client, the tiles would also get colored. So if you click on the next turn, then Alice is again and Alice could also color tiles, but if you aren't on the turn you can't click on the tiles. And that's it for now. So multiple clients could join the server and create multiple instances of games. So if he will create a game now, game 2, maximum players of 2, and will join the game for its own, it doesn't affect other games. You see, if he clicks anything only for player 1, it will change, but this is another game instance of the server on the server, so you have multiple games with multiple clients on the server, and that's it for this project at the moment. Okay, I really just quick explain what is in the client, but you could copy the Git repository. So in the player folder there's a player scene with a player script. In the networking folder is a networking sync scene, which is a scene which you must have on both sides, on the server and on the client, so they could send remote procedure calls on the node with the same name. So that's important that you have the scene on both sides. The menu scene is a scene which is loaded when you start the client project, and in the lobby scene you have the lobby, the games entry, which will add to the lobby when another player create a game room. So the game entry is added to the lobby when you click the refresh button, and in the game room you have the same thing like in the lobby, because if you see here in the lobby you have a scroll container, and in the game room you also have a scroll container where are multiple instances of players are listed, and in the lobby you have game names which will represent a game room. And in the game you have the game manager, which will load first of all, and then load the map and the camera controller and the mouse controller. But this isn't really necessary for the lobby stuff, so I guess you want just to create the lobby and want to sync up games, and then you have the client, which will represent the connection to the client, which is the code I've created in the first video. I hope it will help you out and you could create a lobby for yourself and will boost your games that other player could play together